Another day, another piece of very interesting USPSA news. Today we're talking about a complaint made to the Washington State, what is it? Practice of Law Association, is that what it is? Not, yeah, say they're complaining that Bama Jim, that is this guy he looks like he's USPSA's lawyer, but he says he's not their lawyer. Um, this guy Jim, who's been in the board meetings for about the last year, doing some sort of attorney stuff like that. That's what the dispute's about. Um, Complaints are now filed with the state of Washington against this guy. So, what is going on here? I put the complaint up on my Instagram page yesterday, along with a bunch of documents I'm going to read from now so I can give you a little bit of context. All right, so first, there is a new complaint filed against Attorney Jim. And as I said, I think it's at least three attorneys have filed complaints. Now, this is not the first time this has happened. There was a complaint filed in September by Austin Leffler. That's a guy who's been on this channel before, alleging that Jim was practicing law without a license because USPSA's, they're operating out of Washington, and that apparently is a big problem. Bill Godbold is an attorney that was on here on the channel discussing this same issue with me like a week or 10 days ago. Okay, so this is the second time this has happened. I think it's going to stick this time because it was like the complaint is around a live stream recording of Jim doing what he's doing with the USPSA board, and a bunch of attorneys filed complaints. But it's interesting because this was like a public deal. We can read a lot of the documents around the last complaint that happened, which to me it seemed like it was valid, but um, you'll see why they Jim managed to not get in trouble the last time. Okay, so the last time that this happened, like I said, Austin filed a complaint, and let me read some of the responses and from the parties involved in this. And like I said, I put the new complaint letter is up on Instagram, and in my stories yesterday, I put all of these documents I'm going to read from. I think I'll put them back up today after they time out, just to make sure you can look at them if you really want to. All right, so this is from James Johnson. So this is the attorney Jim has sending his reply for the initial complaint. He says, as part of this, Mr. Leffler is a disgruntled member of USPSA, along with others who have been suspended from the organization for violating disciplinary rules. Leffler has engaged in a prolonged social media smear campaign against USPSA, its employees, directors, and representatives, including myself and Miss Funston. Leffler and others have literally published thousands of derogatory, obscene, disparaging, and harassing social media posts intended to malign USPSA and its supporters. A preview of Leffler's posts and posts made by Practical Shooting Insights will give you an idea of the volume of and vitriol of the material directed by Leffler and others towards USPSA on a daily basis. Here's a link to a Dropbox folder containing some of this material. And there's literally a link to a Dropbox folder for all this stuff that got posted. This is amazing. Amazing. The narrative attached to Mr. Leffler's complaint is a continuation of this disinformation campaign and does not contain any set of facts which would constitute the unauthorized practice of law by me in the state of Washington or any other state. Instead of containing information related to allegations of unauthorized practice of law, Mr. Leffler's narrative is filled with irrelevant facts, immaterial rules, erroneous legal conclusions, unsupported accusations. Unsurprisingly, Mr. Leffler's complaint also contains questions that he has been demanding answers to for months so he can continue to spread more hate and lies. It will not surprise me to see this UPL complaint and response on Instagram soon. Well, he was right about that. So that's interesting. They actually this is what they're saying. They say, hey, this is disinformation. This guy's lying, and I don't believe Austin was lying. I think he was. I think he was probably right about the merits of the situation. Now we have a letter from Donna Webb to prop up Jim, responding to the state of Washington. She says USPSA holds most of its major matches every year at the Civilian Marksmanship Park, Feuding Range in Talladega, Alabama. As such, many of the contracts for services and issues related to these matches in Alabama require review by an Alabama attorney. It just so happened that I met Mr. Johnson at a match at CMP last fall and struck up a conversation about engaging him to do some legal work for USPSA in Alabama. So that's what Donna is saying, is that, hey, it's just related to these Alabama contracts. But again, if you watch the live stream, like Jim seems very much in the mix on all sorts of stuff, and it doesn't seem like it's limited to just Alabama stuff. This is maybe my favorite one. So Ted Murphy, previous president of USPSA, before Yeeman came back in. Let's read what he has to say about this. The member who filed this complaint, Austin Leffler, and others have been engaged in a social media smear campaign against USPSA, its employees, officers, and representatives for months. Mr. Leffler and his associates have personally sent me what I consider harassing and threatening emails and made thousands of derogatory social media posts about USPSA since the member suspensions took place last year. These people have publicly vowed to burn down USPSA. That's what Ted says. And that is hysterical on a number of levels. So the irony is pretty thick. Ted is actually smearing Austin and smearing the rest of us when he's saying this stuff. Like, we haven't been doing a smear campaign. What we've been saying is true, right? We're not smearing anybody. I'm telling the truth. I mean, we're saying this is what's going on. I mean, some of the posts are pretty juvenile, but it's like, I'm not lying over here. Like, we're putting out factual information. Like, the person doing the smearing is Ted. And what's even better is Ted got caught. I think last year, Ted was caught posting on an anonymous account, ex-USPSA on Instagram, posting very, very nasty stuff, smearing all sorts of people. He just was too much of a pussbag to attach his real name to it. And when he got caught, he just stopped posting and he tried to deny it, but the account went away. It's amazing, the irony with these people. So what do I think is going to happen next? Well, this is the old complaint, the stuff I'm reading. This bullshit, frankly, this bullshit got Jimbo out of trouble the last time. I do not foresee him getting out of trouble this time. I just don't think it's going to play. Probably this complaint or these complaints are going to take Jim off the board for a while, because I think, like, what the lawyers say is, like, he's probably going to get suspended for some period of time from practicing law. That would not surprise me, and I think that's probably going to happen. Anyway, the hits just keep coming. Like, every day, stuff is happening now, so it's pretty interesting. I'll keep watching it, and I'll bring stuff as it pops off.